as President Biden continues to defend his campaign and persistent calls to drop out of the race, many voters are feeling anxious and stressed and overall dread, really, about the upcoming election. This is called election anxiety. It is a real thing. Psychotherapist Dr. Robi Ludwig joins me now to talk more about this. First of all, welcome to the Rush Hour. Thanks for coming on.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we're so excited to have you. So thank you. And let's get right in it. Tell us, what is election anxiety?
So it feels like anxiety in many ways, where someone can be highly reactive. Maybe they feel irritable, easily angered, withdrawn, sleep issues. But how it's different from generalized anxiety disorder is that it's targeted about politics and a fear that politics is really beyond an individual's control. You can't control what the results are, and whatever the results are, it may harm an individual, families, or people you care about.
Okay, so knowing that, and knowing that we live in this 24-hour news cycle, if we're not seeing it on New York One, we're seeing it on our phones.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. So what are some coping strategies?
No, it's really interesting because they did a poll where they identified people who were observing politics and they became more stressed versus people who didn't. You have to set your limits because you have to realize the news is there to trigger you and to make you feel quite strongly about politics. And you set your limits, you understand yourself, what works for you and what doesn't. But this new idea has come out, which I really love and embrace, is you sit with your feelings and then you use it for positive good. So maybe you're feeling angry, maybe you're feeling anxious, but you channel that in a way where you can volunteer or find a group of like-minded people to make a difference.
So this goes to the part where you say part of the anxiety comes from not having any control. This gives you some of that control back.
Right, and also whatever we view also triggers our anxiety. It's not like we're born with it and it's genetic. It is, based on what we see and what we hear in our environment. But the good news is if you can learn to sit with some of those strong emotions, maybe not get rid of it, because if you kind of have this idea, keep calm and carry on, maybe you're hopeless, maybe you don't want to vote, maybe you don't want to participate in the greater good. And so we want to honor our democracy and use our feelings so we're part of the solution.
Okay, we got at least 4 months until the election.
Yeah.
What are some of the other coping strategies or things that people can do to sort of not have this get worse in the meantime when we are in this sort of limbo, not knowing which way this election is going to go?
Yeah, it's such a good question because, we know that talking to, let's say, a therapist or a counselor where you have a safe space to talk with somebody who can help you make sense out of your feelings and decide what's in your best interest. It also makes sense to really meditate and really identify your thoughts and see if they're useful or helpful to you. And getting rest and exercise and connecting with other people is huge in terms of helping us to feel our best self.
Is there any way to prepare for the day after Election Day? I mean, half of the country basically is going to feel despondent. How can you, ahead of that, be prepared for whatever outcome?
It's just being an adult in the room and realizing sometimes things don't go your way. What are you going to do if your candidate doesn't get chosen? How will you manage that disappointment? And to really prepare yourself for things might go your way, they might not, and how to, be an American and realize that we really are a hopeful place and things usually do stay stable. So I'm hoping for that as being the end result, regardless of who's chosen. We'll see.
Such good and practical tips. Robi Ludwig, Dr. Ludwig, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.